So, our project is the recycled respirator. Our story starts out in Raleigh, North Carolina, at Wake Med, acute rehabilitation. At Wake Med, we were exposed to all sorts of rehabilitation techniques, equipment, and most importantly, the significance of rehabilitation immediately following surgery. Now, while this was going on during the first part of last semester, another plot to our story was developing. Team 4 and Team 6 expressed a strong interest in global health. We wanted to put a global health aspect onto our project. So, being college students, being somewhat curious, and mostly spontaneous, we packed our bags and traveled to Guatemala.
So, in January of this year, 3 of our team members had the opportunity to travel to Guatemala, as you saw in the video previously. And we had the opportunity to visit 3 medical facilities while we were there. The first medical facility that we went to was a clinic funded by Project Ishkanan, which is a nonprofit in El Remate, Guatemala, which is a rural town, which we spent most of our time while there. They provide free medical care and also free clinics to the families that live there. Next, we had the opportunity to go to a public hospital, and here we just saw a lack of healthcare personnel and a lack of equipment. Next, we went to a private hospital, and here we quickly learned that many of the families that live in Guatemala are not able to afford this healthcare. But one thing that all of these facilities had in common is that they do not provide rehabilitation in rural Guatemala.
So when we got to Guatemala, we want to see like the daily lives of people in Guatemala and how they pretty much go from day to day. And the best way to do that was to visit the families at their own homes. So we visited many families when we were there, and that's Eddie, one of the families we went to. And he's 7 years old, but he was never able to walk because he was born with muscle atrophy, and he never got proper rehab. So when we came back to NC State, we raised money as a group, and we brought in the DYCC to help him walk. And the other one is Fernando, and he had a bike accident, but to get a rehab, you have to drive on a bus to Guatemala City 8 hours each way. And this is only once a month, so during the months you won't be able to do anything. And the other person is Fabio, and he had a motorcycle accident too, but because he couldn't buy the screws for the surgery, he had to be sleeping at the hospital for 15 days before he actually got the surgery, and his family member had to come, and pretty much the entire town had to raise money to buy the screws for him.
If you'll focus your attention to the video playing, you'll see the step-by-step of our design process. While we were in Guatemala, we found a few aspects that we knew were very important to incorporate into our device. We knew it needed to be as simple as possible to build so the people of El Remate could rebuild it themselves from the instruction manual that we've been creating this whole time. We also knew that it needed to be as sustainable and inexpensive as possible. Keeping that in mind, we started designing our respirator by cutting up an old bicycle and welding on some steel rods. We then created some larger pedals, which would be more comfortable for the patients when they're pedaling, and some easy strap mechanisms. Finally, we added a secondary device onto our bicycled respirator. This secondary device is powered by the pedaling motion of the people that are performing rehabilitation. This secondary device can be anything from a corn grinder to a meat grinder to a fan. We just knew that it was really important to have this secondary device because while they are performing rehabilitation, we wanted to give the people of El Remate the ability to still contribute to their family.
So we know that this respirator manufacturing plan will work because I took a follow-up trip this past March to talk with William, a welder in the town of El Remate, and to see if he could actually manufacture this in Guatemala. And he said that he could, and that a lot of the people of El Remate would definitely want to use this device for rehab and to be able to make tortillas with our corn grinder as an auxiliary device. So he also said that there would be unused bikes that you could use to make this device. So this can happen. This is going to happen in Guatemala.
and I plan to travel back to El Ramate, Guatemala this summer to further assess the situation. I plan on bringing the prototype down and building another device with William, and also bringing the instruction manual as well. This is all in an effort to gain some feedback from the citizens of El Ramate and to further continue our project and assess our long-term goals.
We also, early on in this project, we found a group called Biomedical that's a nonprofit in Itzapa, Guatemala, that uses bikes to power useful machines, and have formed a quasi-partnership with them in developing our device, and hope to use them as kind of a hub to build our prototype and spread it throughout Central America.
Here's a short demo of our device.
At this point, we would like to thank our mentors and everybody that made this project possible. Thank you so much.